Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Eniagulu. Now, the U.S. government has resumed deportations of Haitian migrants for the first time in months. 3 full passenger planes have arrived in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince, and more flights are expected in the coming days. The U.S. government's decision came about as more than 12,000 people, mainly from Haiti, gathered beneath the Del Rio flyover between Mexico and Texas over the last week. So an emergency U.S. health order known as Title 42 was enacted, and it allows U.S. authorities to expel most migrants before they can even claim asylum.
When we got to the United States, they put us in detention for 4 days, 4 days without brushing our teeth, 4 days without a shower. All they gave us was some food. Look how dirty we are. When we did not want to leave on the bus and board the plane, they locked us up in the bus to calm us down. Some women even took a beating. They beat men and women. The Americans beat us. Our teams are ready to receive and process these migrants deported by force in our 2 airports. But the problem is that the people don't accept the forced deportations, because that is the reason they left Haiti. They did not want to leave Haiti. So even if we had the best, the biggest, the best equipped centre in the world here to receive them, they wouldn't accept it, because for them Haiti is hell. For them Haiti is the problem.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now on the line from the US by Josephys Dafils, who is the founder of Haitian American United for Change group. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I hope I didn't mispronounce your name there. But first of all, what do you think is responsible for the way the Biden administration has responded to this crisis that's unfolding on the U.S.'s southern border with Haitians?
I mean, it's very unfair and inhuman what took place here. We have a group of people coming asking for asylum, and they didn't have a chance to even see a judge, and you just send them back to Haiti. And Haiti is unstable, unfortunately, right now. We just had an assassination of our president. We had an earthquake. So it's a lot of chaos in Haiti, and to just send them back, that is unfair and inhuman.
So if Title 42, this Trump-era ordinance, wasn't in place, what would be happening to them? Would they have the right to move out from under the bridge and move forward into the U.S.? Would they have the right to request asylum and have their asylum papers processed before being deported?
Correct. You're supposed to see a judge, and you're supposed to have your lawyer and present your case. And at this point, they didn't have a chance to present their case. They just put them. They make sure that they stop them to coming to the U.S. from the border, and from the border, you just get them in a plane, and then send them back home. So that's not the way it's done. So President Biden, a lot of Haitians in Florida, in Philadelphia, in New York, supported him and voted for him. And we were expecting that they will give them the right to make their case. If you really are scared, you are fearful of something that might happen to you in Haiti, then they let you stay. But for them to just put them in an airplane and send them back home, as I said, that is unfair, that is inhuman. And we are asking the president, Congress, the Senate, to stop this, because this is inhuman what's going on here.
Well, I mean, you're there in America. I believe you're in New York. What I don't quite understand is that there seems to be this perception that Haiti is a place of danger to be returned to. Therefore, Haitians are actually being considered more sympathetically than Mexicans, and yet they're being sent straight back despite that perception. Is that how you read this, or is there another way to read this situation?
I mean, the way I'm reading it is that you have all this instability in Haiti. You just had an earthquake last month. So how do you just send people back to something like this right away? I'm not saying that they have to keep all of them, but I know that there are people who are being persecuted. I know people who are supportive of the last president who their life is in danger and they had to get out the country. So I believe that the best way to do it is allow them to get in and let them see a judge. Let the process, we have a process in place. So let the process go into place. And then from there, you can determine who really need to stay, who are really refugees, who are running because of the economy just crumbling in Haiti, the lack of food, a lot of gangs in Haiti right now. So it's a very unstable situation in Haiti at this point to just send them back. That's our take, that they should have that due process.
Right, but obviously the Biden administration is proceeding with these deportations. What has stopped groups like yours from going to court to get a judge to prevent this to continue? Because from what I understand, this is a right that the U.S. has international obligations to provide for the people for these Haitian people.
Correct. So we have meetings with our lawyers and different lawyers in Florida, and we have a group that we're working that is in Houston, Texas. We're working with them to see what can we do right away to get a judge to stop this, and let's rethink this. I understand it's a crisis, but there's a way to deal with crisis, and there's a way to deal with human beings who are having a tough time and they fleeing their country. It's not because if everything was safe, if everything was okay, they would not leave. They would want to stay. Most Haitians want to stay home. But because of the situation that is unstable right now, it's not the right time to do something like this. It's unfair. It's inhuman. And I'm wondering if it's legal, what's going on here. And as I said, we Haitian, we supported the president to be elected. So we were expecting a different response from the Biden administration.
But of course, what a judge will do is simply look at the law under which they're being deported and see whether it is the actions of the government are in conformity with that law. And it is that Title 42 ordinance which gives them the right to remove people if they think that potentially there might be a COVID-19 threat. Would your suggestion perhaps be that they should test those people before they then put them on a plane and send them home?
That's another avenue that can take and that should be taking place, and to see. And I'm hoping that a judge can stop it. I remember when President Donald Trump wanted to ban all Muslims to come to the country, and a judge, and it is very ironic, it was a Haitian judge, Haitian American judge, that stopped this at the time when they were trying to ban all the Muslims. So we need all our friends, all people that we support and say they love us and know what our place is in history. We need our friends to stand with us in this crisis, to say, no, this is not right. Let's stop it. We're not saying that everybody should get in. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, let's vet those people. Let's make sure that we're not sending people in a death trap in Haiti, because those people are being persecuted in Haiti.
Okay, and the former Nigerian permanent representative at the UN, Ambassador Humphrey Ojako, is still with me. Thank you very much indeed for staying with us. We've got less than a minute. What's the way out of this then, in your assessment? Should there be a moratorium on deportations and that Title 42 ordinance that President Trump instituted and President Biden has decided to continue? Should it be repealed? What's your sense?
In fact, if
30 seconds.
If President Biden were to go by his own electoral rhetorics, he should do things differently from what President Trump was doing, because obviously migrants, international law allows for migrants to be treated with dignity, to be treated with process and procedure.
Right, okay.
That is not happening, but there's a complication. That is, there's a health issue over which the global community has not raised any protocols that are.
Okay. Ambassador Humphrey Ojak, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. And also Josephys Dafils, talking to me from Philadelphia there. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja and around the world. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.